Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Mat Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
In his new book, The Brotherhood, Erick Stakelbeck talks about the Muslim Brotherhood and how they have birthed terrorism around the world. They began in Egypt, and right here in America, they are well planted as well. Erick Stakelbeck is our guest. He is the acclaimed author of The Terrorist Next Door and host of Stakelbeck on Terror on CBN News and widely sought-after expert on terrorism in the Middle East and radical Islam. His newest book is called The Brotherhood, America's Next Great Enemy. Welcome to Faith and Freedom, Erick.
Matt, great to be back with you.
Erick, we've been looking at the Muslim Brotherhood through your book and through history, how they started. They began in Egypt. They ultimately decided, as the reason for their existence, that they wanted to reestablish this caliphate, this worldwide dominion under Sharia, because they were lamenting the fact that they had no longer been in that vaulted position that they once were. And now they have spawned terrorism around the world. But go back to Egypt, where they began and where they certainly continue to have a stronghold, and also in many other countries around the world. During Mubarak's reign, they were outlawed. They were banned as a political party.
Yeah, Matt, they were. They were banned for decades, actually. You know, they're banned right now. The Egyptian military, as we speak, Matt, is in the process of crushing the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. But we've been down this road before. Back in the 1950s, I get into the history of it in the book. Nasser stomped out the Brotherhood, burnt their headquarters in Cairo to the ground, rounded up their leaders, imprisoned them, executed them, and the Muslim Brotherhood was banned throughout the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Then all of a sudden, in 2009, President Obama traveled to Cairo to give his infamous Cairo speech. And Matt, his administration demanded that Muslim Brotherhood members be at that speech. So we had about 10 members of the banned Muslim Brotherhood up in one of the front rows as President Obama was giving that Cairo speech. That was a watershed moment, Matt, for this Muslim Brotherhood movement and their resurgence. President Obama legitimized them. Hosni Mubarak himself, who was then the Egyptian president, was not at that Cairo speech. Yet his main enemy, the Muslim Brotherhood, was at that speech at the White House's request. Unbelievable moment. And then we had, not shortly thereafter, Matt, the so-called Arab Spring, the Egyptian Revolution. And from the very beginning, the Obama administration made clear whose side they were on. They elevated, they empowered the Muslim Brotherhood. Look, Hosni Mubarak was no saint. But you know what? In Egypt, sad to say, he's about as good as you're going to get. He kept the peace treaty with Israel. He cracked down on terror groups like Al-Qaeda and Hamas, and he had a cordial relation with successive U.S. governments. Now it's all out the window, and I've talked to Egyptian officials recently, Matt. They are astounded and disgusted with the Obama administration's continued support of the Muslim Brotherhood, even though the Brotherhood's out of power now. And the Egyptian people, Matt, that's the key thing. The Egyptian people are beyond bitter against this Obama administration and see them as friends of the Muslim Brotherhood, friends of terrorists.
Yeah, you know, this President Obama and this administration certainly empowered the Muslim Brotherhood by doing exactly what you've described, and they came into power. And then Morsi obviously showed his true colors, where he wanted to impose Sharia law. And notwithstanding those kinds of statements and that history, this administration sold some of our best weapons to the Muslim Brotherhood at the time when Morsi was in power. Now, when Morsi is gone and the military is cracking down on the Muslim Brotherhood, this administration is withholding funding from Egypt instead of standing by those who understand terrorism the most. Now, when we move here to this side of the equation, right here in America, what is this administration doing here in America, in addition to what they're doing obviously in Egypt, to support and advance this kind of radical ideology? And what else is happening here? What's happening in our in our educational institutions, in our backyard? How far spread is this organization in America?
You know, Matt, the Muslim Brotherhood is not only the most influential radical Islamic organization in places like Egypt and Syria, it's also the most influential radical Islamic organization right here in the United States. I'll give you a great example, Matt. A few years ago, during an FBI raid of a leading Muslim Brotherhood operative's home just outside Washington, D.C., where I'm sitting right now, Matt, the FBI raided the home of this Muslim Brotherhood operative, and they found a treasure trove of top secret Muslim Brotherhood documents. Now, I know it sounds all very cloak and dagger James Bond, but it's true, and I outline it in the book. I provide these documents in the book. Our own government has them in its possession, Matt, and what these documents showed was that the Muslim Brotherhood is here in America, quote, this is the Muslim Brotherhood's own words, to destroy Western civilization from within. And in those documents, Matt, the Muslim Brotherhood names 29 American Muslim groups that are, quote, friends of the Brotherhood and following and enforcing the Brotherhood's agenda inside the United States. These are some of the most influential American Muslim groups. These are the types, Matt, that you see quoted in the New York Times. You see them on CNN, and yes, you see them at the White House. Matt, I'll give you a great example. One of the groups named in the Muslim Brotherhood's own documents is the Islamic Society of North America, ISNA for short. Well, as we were having the whole sequester and White House tours were canceled, little school kids couldn't tour the White House anymore back in March, ISNA was given a tour of the White House. ISNA leaders, a Muslim Brotherhood front group, was given a tour of our White House. This is a group, Matt, that was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terrorism financing trial in American history. Yet they're at the White House. And the leader of ISNA advises President Obama, has met personally with the president, advising him on everything from counterterrorism to Middle East policy to immigration policy. This is the epitome of the fox guarding the henhouse. The Muslim Brotherhood is in the halls of power.
In about 90 seconds, Eric, we could go on and on. This is fascinating, and I encourage people to buy the book, The Brotherhood. What can people do? I know they need to read the book and find out what is going on, but what can they do? Because this is absolutely outrageous, and it's a threat to our national security and to our liberty.
Matt, I'll give you two tracks here. On the first track, what the government should do, they should make the Muslim Brotherhood a designated terrorist organization. Make it official. The State Department can do that. They won't under Obama, but we should. Number two, ban, I know that's strong, ban these Muslim Brotherhood front groups like ISNA, which I mentioned, like CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. These are seditious groups whose agenda is fundamentally opposed to the U.S. Constitution. On the personal level, what citizens can do. Number one, get with like-minded people. Watch Liberty Counsel. Watch shows like this. Network with like-minded people, join organizations that are concerned with this radical Islamic threat. Look at all the impact the Tea Party has had. We can have that same impact on this radical Islamic issue, which in my opinion is the most dangerous issue we're facing right now. That's number one. Number two, stay informed. Take 10 minutes a day to keep on top of these issues. You don't have to be an expert, but you owe it to your family to at least know what's going on. Also, get in the ears of your state, your local, your senators, congressmen. Get in their ears, write letters, be aggressive, tell them what you think about this. And lastly, and most importantly, pray, pray, pray for our nation. It works.
Well, our guest is Erick Stakelbeck. He is a expert on the Middle East and radical Islam. And Erick, you have done a fantastic job, not just in this most recent book, but on this subject matter in all of your interviews and your writings and your other books as well. Continue to keep up the good work. This is the most recent book. It is called The Brotherhood, America's Next Great Enemy. It is a must-read. I read Erick's previous book, The Terrorist Next Door. This one is a must-read. It continues on and gives even additional information that is absolutely shocking. Most people have no clue about the Muslim Brotherhood or certainly the influence of it. And most people may think it's over there in some foreign country, but yet it's right here in America. And Erick reveals that in The Brotherhood. Call Liberty Counsel at 1-800-671-1776 or go to our website at lc.org and order the book, The Brotherhood. Erick, thank you for being our guest on Faith and Freedom.
Thank you, Matt. Anytime. God bless.
God bless. And our guest again has been Erick Stakelbeck, and he is the author of The Brotherhood, a must-read book. I encourage you to read it. I have read it, and I couldn't put it down. It is an eye-opening book about what's happening in our country and around the world and currently with our administration. And you need to know about it and take action immediately. Go to lc.org for more information.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.